and welcome back to part 2 of the Create a World series. Hopefully you are enjoying this series. I am really enjoying creating the world. It is definitely different than building houses and community lots in the game. So I am having a lot of fun doing this. It's fun experimenting and trying to figure out how to do this and that, and I have had to do a lot of research to try to figure out how to do things because I wasn't really too sure how it worked in this program. But anyway, most of this video is going to be with terrain painting. I did speed it up quite a bit because I have a lot of mountain area in this world. There's a lot, and it ended up taking quite a long time for me to get everything covered in the rock texture. And then I even added other textures on top of it to kind of give it a more, I don't know if it's more of a realistic type of look, or I just wanted it to be more dimensional, I guess, in the way it looked. So I got all that done. Like I said, I sped it up quite a bit, so hopefully there's not too much of the terrain painting. I am, with this series, I'm not showing every little thing that I do, only because I'm doing a lot of miscellaneous editing and refinishing areas, and I didn't figure anybody would want to see me doing that over and over again. So some of the stuff will be cut out. It's not too cut out in this one. I just sped up the terrain painting a lot. But here I am creating a little bit more of a mountain area. The one thing I did want to mention while we're talking on the topic of the terrain paints, I ended up having some issues with the edit in game. I was getting it working, and then suddenly, I'm not sure what happened, but it was starting to cause a lot of problems. So my solution to that was I ended up uninstalling the entire game, every pack that I had. Of course, I don't have any mods or store content or anything in my game at this time while I am doing this. That kind of stuff seems to cause a problem too. So I ended up uninstalling everything and thought, okay, I'm just going to do base game only. And that was kind of a good thing because I was able to test these terrain paints. So the darker rock, that terrain paint that I put on here, that one I believe came from Bridgeport. And that lighter texture that I'm putting on, which I really, really like, is from Barnacle Bay. Unfortunately, Barnacle Bay, I think maybe store content. I'm not sure. See, that's where I ended up getting it, was through the store. I don't know if there was actually a pack created for it, but that's where I got mine. And I discovered while I was in just the base game only and going into edit game, that particular texture, the Barnacle Bay one, did not want to show up. It would turn brown, like a really yucky brown. So I ended up doing some more experimenting. I ended up downloading the Barnacle Bay back on there. I ended up putting Bridgeport back on there, and everything seemed to load up correctly again. The textures loaded just like they're supposed to. So I'm going to say, through my research, I believe was incorrect. If I use a texture that is in a pack and you don't have that pack, I'm going to assume and say that that texture is not going to load. I'm not too sure how people are getting it to work when they use the one from, I think it's Sunlight Tides. I was kind of experimenting with it, that really bright blue. I'm not sure how they're getting that to be okay with people who only have base game, because with my experimenting, or maybe it was because I used the Barnacle Bay. Maybe it was because that's a store content item and that one won't load. Maybe terrain paints from other packs will load and just the ones from Barnacle Bay wouldn't. It very well could be that. It could be that anything from the store content items may not load if you don't have it, while maybe the actual pack items, maybe that's different. I'm not sure. Don't take my word on that. This is just from the little bit of experimenting that I had done. and testing and everything to, to try to get my game to work. That's just a little bit of what I discovered and learned. So I'm going to say at least Barnacle Bay for sure you're going to probably want to have. I thought about maybe changing my terrain paint to remove Barnacle Bay, but honestly, I tried a few others in a small area on my rocks here, and I really don't like the other textures nearly as much as I like that one lighter color with some of the greenery as I did from Barnacle Bay. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to keep that one in. If you don't have Barnacle Bay, just keep in mind it's a possibility that that texture may not show up in your game, and you'll know it because it'll turn the rocks very brown. It pretty much removes that texture altogether and it looks very brown. So if that ends up happening in your game, then yeah, you'll probably want to have Barnacle Bay. And unfortunately, this world is not going to be base game, which I believe I mentioned in the first part. I will try to keep as limited on the packs as I can for the main download. But in order for me to have the idea that I want, unfortunately, I'm going to have to use certain packs. So like World Adventures is going to be one of them. World Adventures, and I'm trying to think of what the other pack is that I'm using. Of course, Barnacle Bay, but there's one more that I'm not coming up. Oh, Monte Vista. Now, I know you can get that through the store, but I also have a disc of it, so I'm not sure if that's considered a store item also, but I do use Monte Vista. So if those are going to be the ones for sure that you're going to want to have. And I guess as I continue on through this, I'll find out other areas or other packs that might be required. Here, as you can see, I'm working on the waterfall I mentioned. Now, I did not record it all because it was a lot of test and testing of this just to try to figure out how to get this to work and how to use the game, the game here to place the waterfalls and everything else. So I did cut a lot of that out. The waterfall is there. However, I am noticing an issue. I'm not sure, because when I did this portion of it, I did this when I had every pack installed. So I'm questioning whether or not the waterfall item there itself is base game or not. I'm wondering if it's a pack, because when I go into edit game or I export this world and load it up that way, the waterfall is not showing at all. So unfortunately, I do not have screenshots at this time of this waterfall completed. I think I'm going to have to do some editing on it and maybe change it, because I'm starting to think that maybe it came from a pack that I don't currently have installed. Because remember, I went straight back to base game and only installed like Barnacle Bay, and I think at this time was just Barnacle Bay after I had done this and was doing testing, and the waterfall is not showing up. Now since then I do have Monte Vista back in and I do have World Adventures back in, but it's still not showing up. And I think the rocks are showing up. The rocks are not a problem, but the waterfall is not showing up in game. So I might have to redo the waterfall. I still want the waterfall because my idea is, I'm thinking this lot that I placed up here is going to be a community lot. So my idea for it is maybe a castle museum. So that I can have a castle at the top of this mountain and have this waterfall coming out from underneath it. That's my current idea. That could always change. That will not be a lot included with the world, because I will be using the castle store content to do it. But it will be a downloadable lot if you were to want to download it. But it will not come with the game or with the world. So that is currently my idea for it. We are quickly approaching to the screenshots. Again, the screenshots will not have the waterfall in it because I can't get that to show up yet. So, but once I can get that figured out and get that showing up, then we'll be able to see it in game, hopefully. So here are the screenshots of the world as of right now of this time of this video. I think it's starting to really come together, and I'm really liking the way the world is starting to turn out. And again, as always, leave all your comments and suggestions down below. Any ideas of maybe what you would like to see or thoughts of how, like, different lots to put in here. I'm game for anything that you have suggestions for. No guarantees they'll be in the world, but they might spark some more ideas. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.